Welcome. My name is Robin Harvan, and I am the Director of Health Sciences in the School of Arts and Sciences. And I'm here to talk with you about the programs that we have in the School of Arts and Sciences, as well as, more generally, being here at MCPHS University. So let's begin by looking at the array of programs that we offer through the School of Arts and Sciences. We have chemistry, health psychology, health sciences, medical and molecular biology, pre-medical and health studies, public health. So if you have interest, for example, in working in a laboratory and doing scientific studies, scientific research, working in the pharmaceutical industry, working in any of the biotech companies, then focusing on the sciences, such as a major in chemistry or a major in medical and molecular biology, is an excellent choice. What's also special about being at MCPHS is the proximity of some amazing laboratories and biotech companies and pharmaceutical companies that we work with, as well as then the hospitals and their laboratories as well in the preparation of your career pathway in the sciences. If you have interest in the clinical sciences, meaning you want to go on to become a physician assistant, a nurse, a physical therapist, you want to go on to medical school, you want to go on to become a veterinarian, an optometrist, then majoring in one of the pathways such as health sciences or the pathways such as pre-medical and health studies is a good choice. These are pathways that provide you with the prerequisites, the foundation, as well as exposure to those careers in being able to navigate then your career development in the direction of that clinical pathway that you might be interested in. With health psychology and public health, again, good choices if your focus is then on the behavioral aspects, the cognitive aspects of health, the psychological aspects of health and behavior, and on public health. And we see how important currently during this pandemic of public health is, and becoming a public health worker, focusing in, for example, a pathway to social work is another option with health psychology. So the grounding that you would have then with these majors not only provides you with then the foundation and the prerequisites, but also, as I said, the exposure to what the career may be like, exposure to practitioners in those chosen fields of your interest. In addition to our majors, you have the opportunity to minor, and you have a number of different minors to select from. So by way of example, if you have interest in pursuing public health, and you'd like to also focus, for example, on women's study in public health, or sustainability, which is the environment and public health, climate change, environment, other aspects, then having the public health major and the minor in sustainability would be a good choice. If you are interested in pursuing health sciences, and you weren't sure, do I want to become a physician assistant? Do I want to go on to medical school? You can minor in pre-medical and still major in health sciences, or vice versa. You can major in pre-medical and minor in any of these selections. So what happens is you choose your major first. So you choose your major first in coming to MCPHS University. And then you work very, very closely with your advisors. You have faculty advisors who are your faculty mentors. You have academic advisors who work with you as an academic coach in coaching you with your success skills and tools and strategies to become successful in whatever your chosen path might be. And you have career advisors as well, who can be helpful then in making these selections for the minors. You don't need to select a minor right away. You can select a minor in your second or your third year as you move along and make more decisions in the direction of your career. The internal pathways, because MCPHS University is focused on the healthcare industry, we have a multitude of options with regards to the different professions in the healthcare industry. So by way of example, in the School of Arts and Sciences, we have pathways where you can come in for the bachelor's degree, majoring in health sciences, pre-med, chemistry, public health, health psychology, and so on, but also have a pathway to one of MCPHS graduate programs, such as the Master's in Acupuncture, Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine, Occupational Therapy or Physical Therapy, Physician Assistant Studies, Optometry. And you're able to be admitted conditionally to the graduate program then within the first 3 years of being at MCPHS, meeting the prerequisite requirements for moving on. You have preference in the admissions process for moving on to the graduate programs that we offer. And that third year, then, just prior to admission to the graduate program, is where you would then make that application to the graduate program. And once you are in the graduate program, your fourth year of your bachelor's degree is your first year of your master's or doctoral program. So they double count. And that, of course, saves resources, time, money, certainly. But it's an opportunity to be able to move through your career pathway sooner rather than later. And that is an advantage in selecting one of our internal pathways. We also have external pathways. Those external pathways are with affiliation agreements that we have with other universities. And in those affiliation agreements, again, MCPHS University students receive preference for admissions consideration. If you are interested in moving on to medical school, to dental school, osteopathic medical school, if you wish to become a podiatrist or a veterinarian or a psychologist, those affiliation agreements, again, as I say, do place our students at MCPHS at an advantage for consideration in the applications process through those external pathways. With the curriculum, each of the programs of study differ and vary depending on the major in the programs in arts and sciences. However, they're all grounded in the same foundation. And that foundation is what the first year coming to MCPHS would be like. So that first year, that first semester, all students are taking a course that's called Introduction to the Major. And this fall, I'm teaching Introduction to the Major in health sciences. I have 3 sections of students, over almost 60 students across the major in those 3 sections. And the way in which we are operating this year is to allow hybrid or fully online. With the hybrid program, I do have students who come to class, and I go to class. We meet on campus for the class session, and students who have elected online learning Zoom in, and they're joining the same class via Zoom in that lecture hall. We're able to have a very similar experience in interacting within the classroom, in introducing students to whatever major they focused on coming to MCPHS. And then students also take their foundation courses, very important to ground in the health sciences themselves, the sciences of biology, the behavioral sciences, the biopsychosocial sciences, as well as writing and math, statistics. All of these courses are important because they do provide that grounding that is needed to be able to move on in your pathways to a health career. For example, taking math is important to be able to do medical math. And if you're interested in becoming a nurse, if you're interested in going on to medical school, it's going to be very important to be proficient in calculating doses, as a physical therapist, in being able to do range of motion and understanding the mathematics and the calculations. So every course is important in being, in grounding then the development of the competence that you will be graduating with, and the proficiency then to move on with your professions. You also then take specific coursework that is health specific in a very important component of your preparation as a member of the healthcare workforce in the future, and that's team-based care and collaborative care. Because we know the evidence is there that the more we as health professionals work in teams, the better health outcomes we will have, the better access, the better cost, and the better outcomes with healthcare in doing team-based care. So you are taking courses like healthcare ethics and interpersonal communication with students across the professions in order, again, to provide that foundational knowledge and skills to continue to work on those in team-based models, in group learning, in case-based learning along the way. And then there's going to be plenty of opportunity for electives, and electives could be electives within the minors that are selected, as well as offerings from the colleges of the Fenway. Because of where we are in Boston, we have partners in the colleges of the Fenway, Simmons, Emmanuel, Wentworth. These colleges allow you the opportunity to select from their catalogs courses as well in being part of your elective experiences. The difference that MCPHS has, I feel, is this focus on one vision, one mission for all. We are very focused on health, and that's all we do. Whereas coming from my experiences working at large universities prior to coming to MCPHS, there was a multitude of colleges, and therefore the university was diverse in its focus on preparation for the future, and in doing so, what's so advantageous about MCPHS is there isn't diversity in the focus. There is diversity in the options within the focus on healthcare, and that's an advantage, and that is a difference. Interprofessional education, as I said, is what also makes us different. That we do have the opportunity to work across the different professions that we offer, in addition to the partners that we have on the Longwood Medical Campus. And in the Longwood Medical Campus, we have the hospitals that are in proximity to our campus, as well as our academic partners to be able to work with as well. Not only the hospitals, but the community health centers and other public health agencies that we work with as well in the Boston metro area. Career exploration and professional development is a cornerstone for what we do, because we are very focused from day one on the career pathway that you're interested in. That makes us unique as well. You're not just going to college for the exploration of multitude of potential options. You're focused on the healthcare industry in coming to MCPHS. We provide you then with the array of options to bring you to where you join the healthcare workforce in the near future. And then our location, as I said, is premier. When I decided to make a career change, I've had a career where I've worked in Washington, D.C., in the healthcare industry. I've worked in Colorado as well, as a professor of health sciences, as well as in the New York, New Jersey area at large institutions. And I chose to make this change 8 years ago to come to MCPHS, because when I decided where would I want to go next, I've been to Washington, D.C. Well, I'm going to come to Boston. It's the Mecca for healthcare. And the Longwood medical area is extremely impressive. And we can see that now, even within these very difficult circumstances that we have. The state of Massachusetts and the work that is being done regarding COVID-19 and the pandemic are exceptional models for the rest of the country. And that's not surprising because of where we are in Boston with premier institutions that are leading the way. So we are partners with them, and what's exciting is that our students are exposed and are participating within that environment. More highlights include, again, that focus on health, but also at this institution, we are very focused on teaching, which you might not get at those larger institutions where I've worked previously, because the focus was primarily on research. And although I, yes, do research, our primary focus is student-centered. And student-centered means I'm accessible as a faculty member, much more accessible than I saw in my past career of faculty on other campuses. I do talk to my students on the phone, as well as meet with them face-to-face. We have office hours as well that are devoted to time spent one-on-one with students. And yes, we still do research, our faculty. Of course we do. We have the honors program for arts and sciences students. So I have honors students every semester who are interested in doing research alongside faculty. The Center for Undergraduate Research provides opportunities to work on research projects with faculty as well as with researchers in the Longwood medical area. And these are terrific opportunities to present and publish with us, as well as conduct the research. The Colleges of the Fenway, another highlight, because you're not only part of the MCPHS family, you're part of the Colleges of the Fenway family, and you have even more opportunity to have that social interaction as well as the academic offerings of all of these other colleges and being part of your curriculum and your electives. And then you also have the opportunity to study abroad. And studying abroad in the healthcare industry could be an internship. Wouldn't it be interesting to do an internship in the summer in a healthcare facility abroad? So that is another opportunity that you might have. Our graduates have been accepted by a number of institutions, and this is my favorite day of the year, is to celebrate with you, with the students on graduation day and your families, because it's an achievement for all the hard work and all of the effort put into that culminating experience in order to progress and move on. And it's always exciting to see where our students are going next. And it's always exciting to stay connected. And I do stay connected with students, and so does the rest of our faculty, so that we do help continue. And I'm still writing letters of recommendation for students 10 years later, 15 years later, as they continue to progress in their careers. And it excites me to see how they continue to progress in their careers. And you'll see faculty here at MCPHS feel the same way, that it really is about your success. And that's what brings us joy as well as pride in what you're able to accomplish. So why MCPHS? Again, being in the Longwood medical area is incredible. You have the exposure of working and learning across the Longwood Medical Campus. Our campus is part of the Longwood Medical Area campus. And right across the street is Harvard Medical School, Harvard Dental School, Harvard School of Public Health. And just next door is Brigham and Women's. And across the street is Boston Children's Hospital and Dana-Farber, and a multitude of hospitals, of healthcare agencies, as I said, of laboratories and biotech companies, all in walking distance, literally walking distance from us. And students do engage in the opportunities that we have in the Longwood area. Collaborative practice, again, is a highlight of what we prepare students for. And what we have then in preparing students for collaborative practice, those interprofessional opportunities include students, for example, from Harvard Medical School and Harvard Dental School. Harvard medical students, Harvard dental students take classes with MCPHS students. Tufts University is not far away, and they do as well. They come to our campus and they take classes the Tufts medical students, the Tufts dental students take classes with our students, so that there is the opportunity again to broaden your exposure as well as your immersion in experiences of collaborative care and in improving health outcomes for patients and populations. So we're here to answer any questions that you may have. So please feel free to reach out to us. Continue using the chat to ask any questions that you might have. And thank you very much for joining us today.